Hi everybody, this is Zainab الكاظم Salman, an assistant professor doctor from Mustansari University, History Department. This lecture is divided into two parts. In the first part of the lecture, I'm going to explain about introduction to the present perfect, which contain present perfect simple and continuous, present results, and indefinite past. As for the second part, I'm going to explain about the narrative tenses, which contain past simple and present perfect, past simple, past continuous, past perfect, past simple and past perfect time clauses. Introduction to the present perfect. Number 1. Many languages have a past tense to refer to past time and a present tense to refer to present time. English has these too, but it also has the present perfect, which relates past actions to the present. 2. The use of the past simple roots an action in the past with no explicit connection to the present. When we come across a verb in the past simple, we want to know when. 3. The use of the present perfect always has a link with the present. When we come across a verb in the present perfect, we want to know how this affects the situation now. 4. Compare these sentences. For example, I lived in Roma. It means but now, anymore. Another example, I've lived in Roma, Paris, and New York. It means I know all these cities now. 3. I've been living in New York for 10 years. It means and I am living there now. We have another examples. She's been married 3 times. It means she's still alive. She was married 3 times. It means she's dead. Did you see the Renoir exhibition? It means it's finished now. Have you seen the Renoir exhibition? It's still on. Did you see that program on TV? I am thinking of the one that was on last night. Did you enjoy the film? Said as we're leaving the cinema. Have you enjoyed the holiday? Said near the end of the holiday. Where have I put my glasses? It means I want them now. Where did I put my glasses? It means I had them a minute ago. It rained yesterday. This means it happened in the past time. It's been snowing. There's snow still on the ground. Present perfect simple and continuous. See the introduction to the perfect aspect and the continuous aspect in Unit 1. These tenses have 3 main uses. the first one, unfinished past. The verb action began in the past and continues to the present. It possibly goes on into the future as well. For example, we've lived in this house for 20 years. Sorry, I'm late. Have you been waiting long? I've been a teacher for 5 years. I've been working at the same school all the time. We have some notes about that. Number 1, there is sometimes little or no difference between the simple and the continuous. For example, I've played tennis since I was a kid. I've been playing tennis since I was a kid. The first one, the simple, and the second one is continuous. Number 2, the continuous can sometimes suggest a more temporary situation. The simple can sound more permanent. For example, I've been living with a host family for 6 weeks. The castle has stood on the hill overlooking the sea for centuries. Number 3, certain verbs by definition suggest duration. For example, wait, rain, snow, learn, sit, lie, play, stay. They are often found in the continuous. For example, it's been raining all day. She's been sitting reading for hours. Number 3, remember that state verbs rarely take the continuous. For example, I've known John for years, but not I've been knowing. 2, how long have you had that car? But not have you been having. 3, I've never understood why she likes him, but not I've never been understanding. Now we have present result. The verb action happened in the past, usually the recent past, and the results of the action are felt now. For example, you've changed. What have you done to yourself? Another example, I've lost some weight. 3, I've been doing some exercise. 4, I'm covered in mud because I've been gardening. In this use, the simple emphasizes the completed action. The continuous emphasizes the repeated activities over a period of time. We have some notes. Number 1, certain verbs by definition suggest a short action. For example, start, find, lose, begin, stop, break, die, decide, cut. They are more often found in the simple. For example, we've decided to get married. I've broken a tooth. I've cut my finger. In the continuous, these verbs suggest a repeated activity. For example, I've been stopping smoking for years. Another example, you've been losing everything lately. What's the matter with you? I've been cutting wood. Number 3, the use of the symbols. The symbol suggests a completed action. For example, I've painted the bathroom. The use of continuous suggests a possibly incomplete action. For example, I am tired because I've been working. This action may be finished or not finished. Another example, someone's been drinking my beer. There is some left. Fourth note, the continuous can be found and qualified by any further information. For examples, I am wet because I've been swimming. 2. We are tired because we have been working. 3. Why are you red? I've been running. This simple sounds quite wrong in this use. I've swum, it means not I've swum, but I've been swimming. And not we've worked, but we've been working. And not I've run, but I've been running. 5. Sometimes there is little difference between the past simple and the present perfect. For example, where did you put my keys? This in the past simple sentence. 2. Where have you put my keys? This sentence is present perfect. 6. American English is different from British English. In American English, these sentences are correct. For example, did you hear the news? The president resigned. 2. Did you do your homework yet? 3. Your father just called you. 4. I had breakfast already. Indefinite past. The verb action happened at an unspecified time in the past. The actual time isn't important. We are focusing on the experience at some time in our life. For example, have you ever taken any illegal drugs? 2. She's never been abroad. 3. Have you ever been flying in a plane when it's hit an air pocket? We have a note. Please note these 2 sentences. she's been in Spain. It means at some time in her life. 2. She's gone to Spain. Means she's there now. 3. The first is an example of indefinite past, but the second sentence is an example of present result. The second part is about the narrative tenses, which contain past simple and present perfect, past simple, past continuous, past perfect, past simple and past perfect, and time clauses. Narrative tenses: past simple and present perfect. The past simple differs from all three uses of the present perfect. Number 1. The past simple refers to finished past. For example, Shakespeare wrote plays. It means he's dead. I've written short stories. It means I'm alive. Number 2. There is no present result. For example, I hurt my back. It means it's better now. I've hurt my back. It means it hurts now. Number 3. It refers to definite past. For example, I saw him last night. I saw him 2 weeks ago. I saw him on Monday. I saw him at 8. Compare this with the indefinite adverbials found with the present perfect. For example, I've seen him recently. I've seen him before. I haven't seen him since January. I haven't seen him yet. I haven't seen him for months. I've never seen him. I've just seen him. We have a note. Even when there is no past time adverbial, we can build a past time in our head. For example, did you have a good journey? It means the journey is over. You are here now. Thank you for supper. It was lovely. This means the meal is finished. Where did you buy that shirt? It means when you were out shopping the other day. Past simple. The past simple is used, number 1, to express a finished action in the past. For example, Columbus discovered America in 1492. 2. To express actions which follow each other in a story. For example, I heard voices coming from downstairs, so I put on my dressing gown and went to investigate. Number 3, to express a past state or habit. For example, when I was a child, we lived in a small house by the sea. Every day I worked for meals on the beach with my dog. This use is often expressed with used to. For example, we used to live. I used to walk. Past continuous. The past continuous is used, number 1, to express an activity in progress before and probably after a time in the past. For example, I phoned at 4, but there was no reply. What were you doing? 2. To describe a past situation or activity. The cottage was looking so cozy. A fire was burning in the grate. Music was playing, and from the kitchen were coming the most delicious smells. 3. To express an interrupted past activity. I was having a bath when the phone rang. 4. To express an incomplete activity in the past. For example, as I was reading a book during the flight, it means I didn't finish. I watched a film during the flight. It means the whole film. 5. To express an activity that was in progress at every moment during a period of time. For example, I was working all day yesterday. They were fighting for the whole of the holiday. We have notes. The past simple expresses past actions as simple, complete facts. The past continuous gives past activities time and duration. For example, what did you do last night? I stayed at home and watched the football. I phoned you last night, but there was no reply. Oh, I was watching the football and I didn't hear the phone. Sorry. Another note. Note how the questions in the past continuous and past simple refer to different times. For example, when we arrived, John was ironing. She stopped ironing and made some coffee. For example, what was she doing when we arrived? She was ironing. What did she do when we arrived? She made some coffee. Past perfect. The past perfect is used to look back to a time in the past and refer to an action that happened before then. For example, she was crying because her dog had died. I arrived to pick up Dave, but he had already left. Keith was fed up he'd been looking for a job for months, but he'd found nothing. Notes. Number 1. The continuous refers to longer actions or repeated activities. The simple refers to shorter, complete facts. For example, he'd lost his job and his wife had left him. Since then, he'd been sleeping rough and he hadn't been eating probably. 2. The past perfect can refer to definite as well as indefinite time. I knew his face immediately. I'd first met him in October 1993. This definite. But I recognized her face. I seen her somewhere before. This indefinite. Past perfect and past simple. 1. Verbs in the past simple tell a story in chronological order. For example, John worked hard all day to prepare for the party. Everyone had a good time. Even the food was alright. Unfortunately, Andy upset Peter, so Peter left early. Pat came looking for Peter, but he wasn't there. It was a great party. John sat and looked at all the mess. He felt tired. It was time for bed. 2. By using the past perfect, the speaker or writer can tell a story in a different order. For example, John sat and looked at all the mess. It had been a great party and everyone had had a good time. Even the food had been alright. Unfortunately, Andy upset Peter, so Peter left early. Pat came looking for Peter, but he'd already gone. John felt tired. He'd been working all day to prepare for the party. It was time for bed. Note: for reasons of style, it is not necessary to have every verb in the past perfect. For example, Andy upset Peter, so Peter left. Once the time of past in the past has been established, the past simple can be used as long as there is no ambiguity. Time clauses. Number 1. We can use time conjunctions to talk about two actions that happen one after the other. Usually the past perfect is not necessary in these cases, although it can be used. For example, after I'd had or had a bath, I went to bed. As soon as the guests left or had left, I started tidying up. I sat outside until the sun had gone or went down. Number 2. The past perfect can help to make the first action seem separate, independent of the second, or completed before the second action started. For example, when I had read the paper, I threw it away. We stayed up until all the beer had gone. Number 3. Two verbs in the past simple can suggest that the first action led into the other, or that one caused the other to happen. For example, when I heard the news, I burst out crying. As soon as the alarm went off, I got up. Number 4. The past perfect is more common with when because it is ambiguous. The other conjunctions are more specific, so the past perfect is not so essential. For example, as soon as all the guests left, I tidied the house. Before I met you, I didn't know the meaning of happiness. When I opened the door, the cat jumped out. When I'd opened the mail, I made another cup of tea. Many thanks for listening.